I used to run from failure, but when I realised it's your greatest teacher, I give it a cuddle now.
My dad told me, always tell the truth, because that way you can remember what you said.
75% of our jails are occupied by people that have had pretty traumatic mental health situations.
Plastic is getting into the food chain and it's in the sea, and I'm really worried about that. JK, thanks for coming in.
Brownie, do I have to call you Mayor? What do I have to call you? Mayor, Brownie? Can I? I've always called you Brownie. So.
You might call you JK. I'm Brownie.
Very good.
That's how we are.
We are.
So we're having a bit of a chat with some people that love Auckland.
Yeah.
And know that that's what drives me. My party is Fix Auckland. I'm not Labour or National. And we just want to talk about some of the things. And some projects you do in Auckland are quite good.
Oh, mate.
The sewerage intercept is a very big project.
Yeah. You know, for me, obviously with my Italian connections through my wife and stuff, I was in Rome and I got this phone call to go to Galla's head office. I thought, Galla, who the hell are they? Yeah. They're really interesting as a company because they don't actually work in Italy. They do all their work mainly externally in Italy, but they're a family business. And they were talking about this, this tender that they had here with water care in our council to fix our problem. Because I swim. I love this city, mate. I swim in the harbour.
Well, you're going to swim in a swimming pool I'm going to put down there by Christmas.
Oh, nice.
I've got it for nothing, no cost. Just down there, see all those steps coming down there?
Yeah.
There'll be 33 1/3 metre lanes in there by Christmas. Funded out of the meter.
Using seawater?
Yeah, just in the seawater. It comes in and out. No chlorine, no nothing, no washing.
Beautiful.
And
so when I can't swim in the sea because the shit runs into it because we get overflow, I get pretty upset.
Me too.
This is the greatest city in the world. So I said to these guys, to Gala, like, tell me the project, what are you doing? What's the value? And they said, look, we will be able to, by putting this tunnel in, 85% solve this problem. And I'm all over it. So then I came back home and I started helping them. I went to a few meetings with water care, leaders of that, and just helped them get the contract. Now they've got it, and they've come across my old hood, Brownie, Manukau. They've come across the Manukau Harbour, and
we're extending out into my new hood down at Point Erin.
Yeah, totally.
And that's a good example of what council should do and should do properly. City Rail Link is quite a good project. It was just put together stupidly with people who had never done big contracts before. And that annoys me. It was naively signed. It should have been done better. But I've met the Gala guys. They're onto it. But what you've done is you've shown the ability to help something good happen.
Yeah.
And in a way, I love your next little project, the surf park, and in a way, I didn't interfere in a bad way, but I had to sort of encourage the planners to actually, this is a good idea, team.
Yeah.
It's not just adding onto something. It's a very good thing because it's actually going to be using the spare heat that comes out of data centres, which is the latest big user of power,
totally,
to heat the thing.
I think the most important thing is to listen. So you can imagine how many people have approached me to get involved in projects. And I set the entry level to me supporting you pretty high. And then I went up and spoke to the community, and the community want it. I spoke to Mark Mitchell, I spoke to local council, I spoke to the local community. Everyone wants it. They see it as a real positive.
Yeah.
And so if you're a decision maker, just listen. If you got 50-50, you go, okay, we'll make the call. But we had no one saying that we shouldn't do it. It's going to bring tourism in, it's going to bring people, we're going to create a community centre. And I'm going, I get pissed off.
It uses waste heat.
No, but I get pissed off when I see those T-shirts, New York, London, Barcelona, and they put Sydney there. Auckland's not there. This is one of the greatest cities you could ever live in, right?
Look out the window.
But we need great infrastructure. It needs to be we need a great stadium. We
need better use of the harbour made cleaner, which is everything that I'm involved in. Like you've got your thing with the mental health. I spend my bit as sea cleaners, keeping the harbour clean, And I've taken, I put a lot of effort back into surfing as one thing. I was the president of Surfing New Zealand and basically its funder for a number of years.
Yeah.
And took the New Zealand team all around the world, and it's just fantastic.
Yeah.
It's my idea of it's my iwi.
Yeah.
You know, we have our own language. I can open doors in Brazil or anywhere because I show up and you speak surfing, and then they take you out to some terrifying break. Yeah. And if you can survive it, you're okay.
You're all good. You're accepted. You're accepted. Yeah, I mean, I think surfing for me has been, you know, one of those things that has been my escape for many, many years.
Washes your brain.
Totally. There's no other feeling, right?
Yeah.
And I'm a Māori Bay surfer, so I go out to Māori Bay, Muriwai, which I've always loved, or I go down the East Coast. We've got a holiday place down there. And so when the surf park came up, you know, we'll be able to get kids surfing. The interesting thing for me is I went for a surf. Last time I went for a surf, in an hour and 50, Brownie, I got 4 waves. I went to the wave park in Melbourne to try it. And in 4 sessions, I had 68 waves. I had 13 waves a session. But not only that, you and I are sitting there. We're sitting there. There'll be, you know, a female surfer next to us, and you're waiting your turn. So the vibe is just so good. And no one drops in, no one takes time. So you imagine the entry level for our female surfers. You know, they'll be able to start. I went and had a look at the one in Zeon, right, in Switzerland. And I'm sitting there, and this guy was on a foamy. And he was going bloody good, Brownie. So I'm hooting him in, and he paddles back out. And I said, mate, you're going really good, you know, you're surfing really well. And he said, yeah, I'm going to the sea next week. First time. He'd never been to the sea. I was going, how cool is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, how cool is that?
Yeah, well, I'm lucky with having my alternative life in the far north. And there's not a lot of surfers and there's a lot of beaches. And so, and because I've been a competitive surfer, I'm a counter.
Yeah,
you know, and I go out with my mates, you know, and well, Fat Gary will be out there with me, and we'll be for an hour, and we said, well, it was great. And he said, yeah, I got about 5 waves. I got 20, because when you're competitive, I'm on the watch. Doesn't believe me, and I'm kind of hyper anyhow. I probably should qualify for one of your mental health aid things in that regard, but it washes my brain. Yeah, it does me so good, and so it's a great thing for doing that, and that leads into, I mean, one of the other things, other than admiring you for your rugby skills, which are a lot better than mine. Although I did manage to play a few times in Eden Park, but nothing like your level. But what people really admire is the work you're doing with your JK Foundation for Mental Health, and having chaired a lot of big hospitals, including that one out there. It's an important part. It's not seen as importantly as what it is as part of our community. So just give us a few words on that, because I really admire what you're doing. And
well, it really, my latest 2 projects have really come from failure, Brownie. So I woke up 5 years ago, and I've been the face of mental health for 15 years. And our suicide rate's ridiculous. I read the paper, suicide rate's going up. Like, by the end of today, a New Zealand male will be dead. By tomorrow night, 2 males and 1 female, right? And so if you've been the face of this and you look at it, I thought I failed. So I had to look at it again. And failure doesn't worry me, Brown. Like, I used to run from failure, but when I realised it's your greatest teacher, I give it a cuddle now, learn from it, move on very quickly.
Learn from mistakes, learn from mistakes. Geez, there's plenty to learn from in this council, I tell you that, mate. They've been making them in scores before I arrived, and I'm trying to stop people doing the same thing twice. But carry on, Beck.
So I looked at what my journey was from just surviving to thriving. So I went from wanting to jump out of a window one night to absolutely thriving today. But also thought, what was I taught at school about mental health? So when I had my first anxiety attack, I thought I was going insane, because my reference was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, right? So I thought, if I talk to him about my mental health, I'm going to get locked up with Jack Nicholson and Chiefs, the big American Indian guy, because that was my reference.
Yeah.
Right? And so I looked at all the schools, and there's no mental health curriculum. So I went away, I raised another $250,000, and we got the Auckland University to create a curriculum on mental health. So I started the foundation, and what we do, the program's called Mighty. So it's a curriculum-based mental health curriculum that goes right across all the other subjects. So we go into the school, we pay for the teacher, they go into school, and they upschool the primary schools, by the way, so that our kids have all the tools that they need to to look after themselves in this ever-changing world. So we've been going 4 years now. We're in 200 schools. There's 1,400 primary schools in New Zealand, and I'd like to be in them all.
Gee, I've got to admire that, mate. That's fantastic.
Well, it's
you don't get this sometimes until someone jumps out of their life into yours. I took my boat onto the Harbour Bridge a few years ago, and a guy jumped out and nearly hit the boat.
no way.
And we fished him out. He survived, amazingly enough.
Yeah.
I mean, don't ever do that. But it kind of suddenly think, wow, here's something I haven't been exposed to as much as I should have, and that's you got to.
Yeah, and the other thing I did is I believe that governments, local governments, this is a pandemic worldwide. So I believe that businesses are a big part of the community, and part of their responsibility is to look after their people generally from a mental health point of view. So I've created a company called Groove. We're a digital company. Our goal is to reach 100 million people. We think if we reach 100 million people, so we're big on data, making the invisible visible for good. So we will integrate into your day. So if we've seen that you've had 20 odd meetings, we'll be able to send you a message saying, Brownie, you're going to have a coffee or go and look at yourself. You plan to surf this week, make sure you plan. So we've built a data company that uses positive AI to make sure that we are actually looking at all the data of your workers and then getting them to look after their mental health. So that's a company called Groove. So those two things are my main passions now.
Well, good on you. Funny, in the hospitals I've chaired, Northland Health, Auckland Health, I was a commissioner at Tarawhiti. Well down there because I knew all the surface.
Yeah.
But they are areas where, in fact, you'd think that they're doing better with their staff, but in fact, that's an area where they're not actually.
Well, they're frontline, Brandon.
Yeah,
like frontliners.
And it's hard in
it's
there,
hard.
And I've found some exceptional people working in that sector. The guy who was the most successful chief executive I've ever employed anywhere came out of that thing, and he was making a success with the turmoil that was Northland Health's mental health sector, and that he was just a kind, thinking guy who'd made this major improvement. So I actually promoted him right into the managing the whole thing in that way, and those lessons paid off for everybody. So I was pretty stoked about that. I think you got to admire for that. And your passions are good. Like we're both water people.
Yeah.
And so I'm a great supporter of sea cleaners.
Yeah.
Because it annoys me to find the stuff that's in the harbour. And most of it didn't get washed in there. It gets put in, tyres don't wash themselves into the creeks. Shopping trolleys don't wash themselves into the creeks. And you clean out the foul creek and go back a year later, it's all the same stuff again.
Yeah.
So we're teaching the young people, because the oldies are going to throw the shit in anyhow. So the young people, and stop them, it might take a bit of time. And also, the guy who started that is a guy I admire a hell of a lot, Hayden Smith.
Yeah.
And he's a bit like you, he's really got in and done it. I've kind of been an old fart who's helped him a bit. And I don't overplay what I've done, which is pretty small other than being supportive. But he's exposed me to a few things. We worry about climate change, which is something we've got to worry about. But what might kill us is that plastic is getting into the food chain, and it's in the sea, and it's in tiny little things there, and it's in everywhere, and I'm really worried about that.
I have, I was doing a mental health talk down the line, and one of these teachers stood up and said, JK, I've got a bunch of 10-year-olds, and they're really anxious about the future, about the environment and all that sort of stuff, global warming. And he said, what's your advice? And I said, well, I'll give you the advice that my dad gave to me. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. So who's going to change global warming? Me. How do I do that? I start at home. I start going to the supermarket and saying, stop the plastics, people.
He was.
If we don't do it, if you don't do it, if you're waiting for someone else to do it, so if we all make, like you imagine if every household makes 5% change, right? Then that is what we need to do. If you're walking along this beach, if you're in Auckland and you walk past rubbish, you don't pick it up. You're not doing your job as a citizen. Like we just got to all muck in and go, right, what can we do?
Yeah, well, we've just been up surfing, and I took a family up to Natadola Bay in Fiji, and I joined a group straight away that was cleaning the beach up there. And the Fijian family were saying, wow, that guy's a mayor and he cleans the beach and picks up rubbish. And it was kind of like a good thing to the show that just That's what I did. I picked up, and the locals actually throw the stuff down, which is not good. And so they're a bit embarrassed by the fact that he's supposedly a person who's got somebody who's quite happy to spend part of his holiday wandering on the beach picking up rubbish because, you put it very well with you, so it starts with yourself. But I think that it's learning from other people who are passionate about it. I mean, I hadn't really had that focus brought home to me until Hayden Smith, the guy who's in charge of sea cleaners, pointed it out. I mean, man, this is not good.
I follow that big one, that one that goes to that dump in the middle of the...
Oh, yeah, the Sargasso Sea.
Yeah, and they're just like pulling it out of the water, which is fantastic, but,
Well, I led a business delegation to India, which is last year, which is very important. It's about to become the third biggest economy. And they're very cock-a-hoop of themselves. We are going. And I'm saying, well, yeah, but pride becomes before a fall. What might knock you down is if the TV stations of the world start showing the beach at Mumbai. You need to bloody get stuck in, and I want to start a sea cleaners over here for you fellas there. Start cleaning up your act. Because no matter how much we pick up here, if you New Zealand doesn't have, a lot of people say, we're such a small percentage of the world, we don't have to behave better or we're going to go bad in here. That's not a good attitude to have. But we've also got to actually shame some of the big guys into playing a bit better.
We're the world's backs, right? So we
I like that.
Yeah, well, we should be, and I believe that, we should be able to have an American tourist come down and throw a rod off the end of the wharf and catch a fish. Because you can't do that anywhere else in the world.
No, you can't. Right? Well, you'd be interested to know this morning, we were down at that point over there, which we're rehabilitating because it had shell tanks and...
Oh, yeah. And we looked at that for the wave park.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite big enough.
Well, also, it's got a few issues that had to be cleaned. Yeah. So I've put 117 million out of our budget over the next 5 or 10 years into that. And so
we've got to recover it for...
Oh, absolutely. I know the Prime Minister said you shouldn't spend money on nice to haves. It would be nice to have that cleaned up for the people of Auckland. So we're going to do that anyhow, regardless of what he thinks. In terms of the crime thing, the city should be safer than what it is. So I have diverted $1 million of the actual mayor's budget into patrols on the street, but not necessarily police patrols. Married guys.
Two things you can't centralise, Browning: policing and mental health.
So you've got to be on the street with it.
Got to be on the street with it.
Mate,
put the
right there, brother.
Put the house back down Mission Bay, please, where you have 2 police officers and they walk around, they know everybody. You cannot centralise police. You've got to put it into community, like...
well, we've got the guys on K Road. I put money to have them on K Road, not in an office, on K Road. So I've got council staff and Maori wardens out there walking up and down, and it makes a difference. They talk to people, they hear about it. They've got the local business people know who the problems are and where they are, and talk to those people. Don't just...
And I think that there's also a really interesting thing to realise that 75% of our jails are occupied by people that have had pretty traumatic mental health situations in their life. So I think it's important when you come into town not to confuse crime with someone who's down and out but harmless. And we need to look after those people because they don't have anywhere to go. I don't think it's lying on the streets, so we need to understand that that's a social issue we all need to be care of. But crime, for me, is if you break it down, you would have read the Giuliani project before he got in all the trouble.
He started well and finished badly.
But he's just started cleaning up graffiti. So start with a small crime and then the big crime,
That's what I've been doing in Otahuhu out there as well, because I'm an Otahuhu Business Association. We're absolutely right with that. Start with the small stuff. Make people behave better if it's clean and tidy.
Totally.
And if they're looked after. And so, tricky. I think that all that mess on the streets isn't helping. Our construction mess, all those cones and stuff. Pull that stuff. I want to clean them up so that it looks a better place. Yeah. People behave better where it's tidy. There's no question about that.
Yeah, and this is our fortune. What's happened with the stadium? Am I allowed to ask you that?
Yeah, well, I actually, because I'm a bit of a dominant person, I stayed off the committee so that I could sort of come in later on and things. So we went through a process. Eden Park thinks they can make it better, and at least we've got it there. And then there's one down here that looks like it can do it on the Ngāti Whātua rail land, which might be quite good use of Ngāti Whātua rail. But we're looking at that one on that creepy land over there, but that's planned to be a sort of an open park, really. And I kind of like it as an open park over there, you know. And that will be the first big open park in 100 years in Auckland. We've been eating parks. The last one left is Victoria Park. Yeah. And so to actually have a park on the water for everyone to go to, because
awesome.
What annoys me is, a lot of kids in South Auckland don't go, they're like the kid in Switzerland. Totally. They don't go to the harbour. One of my fifth of my 5 policies was get the harbour back for the people. Yeah. And there wasn't necessarily the people like me that have got a nice boat in the marina at Westhaven. It was for the people in Otahuhu. Totally. Who don't go and do that. So I want them to come there and have a nice picnic and swimming, and that's underway, and we'll take a while because it's quite polluted because there's been things there. So I don't really want to waste that under a stadium in some way. So It'll be either we've given them 6 months, can you really make that happen, or are you just bullshitting me? Because, I'm fairly hard to bullshit.
Well, that's the thing that I believe is we need one big stadium. Like you can't have Taylor Swift not coming because we don't have a big enough stadium, but we also need it to drop down to 25,000. If we're going to stay at Eden Park, you can't put lipstick on a pig. We need to pull it down and build a world-class stadium that's going to last for 50 years. I don't know where we're going to get the money from, Brady. That's your problem.
I just got a lecture from the Prime Minister saying, not nice to have. So
this is very different. This is very different for me. The heart, if it's down here, then 40,000 people are going to walk out and they're going to service the businesses that are working their asses off every day, trying to keep restaurants open and stuff.
Oh, you don't have to explain that to me, man.
I know, you know
already. But
so for me,
we do have the city rail link thing coming, which will mean both of those sites are quite easy to get at.
But you can't keep dressing Eden Park up. If we're going to stay at Eden Park, it needs to be knocked down, and we need to build a state-of-the-art stadium that's going to last the next 50 or 60 years, because you're just going to have to keep patching it up. So if it's Eden Park, I'm fine with it. It's down here, as long as we can get people out of the stadium and into our businesses, and we've got concerts, we've got
the city rail should be there. We'll improve that, even if it was out there at Eden Park. But
Warriors should be there. The soccer should be there. Everyone should be there.
We do have things that we hang on to for too long here that don't work. Like I tried to the North Harbour Stadium's never really worked properly, and it's really hard to get a change going. So I have got someone thinking about that. This is a city where there is nothing so permanent as something called temporary. There's that plastic building down on Queen's Wharf.
It's not a bad office you got here, Brownie. It's not a bad office.
No, it's not bad. Right. And that was built up 18 years ago with 2 years' life. It's still there.
Which one?
That sort of...
The one on the wharf?
Yeah,
the Cloud.
The Cloud.
Was built for World Cup, wasn't it?
Yeah.
2011 or something.
And then the bridge that has let everybody down over there.
Yeah, what's the go with that?
Oh, well, that was built for 2 years just for the America's Cup.
Okay.
My predecessor failed to sign on the contract saying you get this money and if you win it, you've got to have it here again, which really annoys me. I'm not happy that it's...
One thing, I won't be supporting Team New Zealand this year.
I'm annoyed with
my son's in the Luna Rossa team, you know that.
Well, I understand that.
So that's pretty easy. But I'm really upset, mate. I'm upset with Team New Zealand. I don't know who it was. There was a lot of blame going on. But our businesses down here need America's Cup at the moment.
We put a lot of money into that. My rates went into that. And all that my predecessor had to do was read the contract and say, if you win this, you will defend it here.
But why?
I did it.
Yeah, but also we...
He should have actually thought that was the right thing to do anyhow. But,
exactly. That's my frustration.
Yeah, and it's annoying to me that we've got open space along there that's got fences around it. And I said, why is that? Because Iki Panuku, which is another organisation I want to bring back in here. I hate the idea of these council-controlled organisations. Not controlled at all. Have allowed a fence. Oh, that's because of a contract that we had with Team New Zealand. I said, well, Team New Zealand's in bloody Barcelona.
Yeah, they
get fences down. You know, I want the public to go down there. I want them fishing and they're going to be swimming there at Christmas. Yeah. You can join me in the first lap.
So if they win it this time, are they coming back?
Well, that's an interesting thing. They have to pay through the nose to get back. I don't know. How do I know? It's a bit like that. Yeah. The Sale GP, where billionaires own that, and what the ratepayer to cough up a whole lot of money than go around. The sorts of stuff with the limited, that little red boat. See that little red boat there? I told them while the bridge is up, put the little red boat on. See the one just going across that? Free. We went in this morning. They're queuing up to get on it. People love it.
Yeah.
It's an ocean trip in the harbour for nothing.
Perfect.
Fantastic. And so there is always a cheap
What happened
solution.
with the bridge? It just to stop working down.
Well, it stopped. It was put up.
Can't be put
Years
down. It's just not safe.
I don't know how they managed to make such a mess of doing it. They didn't prepare it, and now it's broken down, and they will be back for Christmas, but at great expense, which is another reason why do we need these bloody council-controlled organisations? If it had been in here, someone would have looked at it and said, you know, we repair the swings and slides around the place. We don't wait till they bloody rust right through and someone dies.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's not a good look at. The CCOs have done some dumb shit. They keep telling me they're wonderful and everything. Like AET drive me mad. And they keep saying, oh, no, we're up to date with everything. But I don't mind being responsible for things I've actually mucked up myself.
Yeah.
But everybody thinks I've got complete control of all those things, and they keep doing dumb stuff all the time there, and I get blamed for it. I'm not happy about that.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think that's why you're different.
Well, yeah, I'm indifferent because I'm driven to make this place better.
But you tell it. I like that you tell it.
I'm very blunt.
You are.
My dad, your dad told you things. My dad told me, always tell the truth because that way you can remember what you said.
So true.
It's
So true.
If you're doing something stupid, it's my job to tell you you're doing something stupid.
Yeah.
You might not have known other than that. Anyhow, I've got to ask silly questions. Beer or wine?
Wine, red preferably.
Italian red.
Italian red. I import it. I have a company called JK14 Wines. My daughter runs it, which you've had a couple. Last time we were at Farina, my mate's
I love that. And I sat next to the guys on the Morgan, and he's gone and had a check out on my grandson. Was a top try scorer in the under 12 of all the league teams in Sydney.
Wow.
And with 4 tries a game when no other team's got 4. And then he's gone to play rugby now. And I sent him some videos. I'm just carving through.
Nice.
So, and
He's a lovely man, Morgan.
isn't he a nice guy?
Yeah.
Boats or planes? Really? Boats or planes?
I'd have to say both because, I remember complaining to my dad once about how far Italy was, right? I said, wow, it takes a long time to get to Italy. He said, beats swimming though, doesn't it? Yeah, beats swimming. So planes are a big part of my life. My grandson who's just been born is going on his first trip to Italy tomorrow. He's only 3 months old.
How cool.
So I've been getting on planes.
So Italy's for you like Monganui is to me.
Yeah.
It's the other place.
And I'm really lucky because I can get, if you said to me, go to London for the weekend, I'd go. So I've been on planes all my life and I just get on them and go.
Diving or fishing?
Neither. I don't really.
Mate, I live
surfing.
I got a house
Go surfing.
over the water up north.
Yeah.
I can, if I wanted to, I can fish from the veranda. I can look it through the glass panels on the floor at the fish. I don't do fishing. It's not my fault the oceans are depleted.
Yeah.
I take waves.
Yeah, me too.
And so...
Yeah, I don't go fishing. I don't really go diving. I go surfing.
No, I go surfing. Oh, I got mates go diving. There's too much paraphernalia. What I like the surfboard is...
It's still one of the cheapest sports.
That's all you have.
That's all you need.
And,
I promised that with Surf Ahipara. We need to do that.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't surfed it for 30 years.
Well, I first surfed it about that time ago, but I surf up north. There's a place we go to most of all. It's called Ramp Road, and nobody goes there much. And it's the south.
Tell me.
Well, when you come up north, I'll show you. But it gets a lot of surf, and there's about. You'd fit in nicely out there because when it's really good, there'll be 7 of us, and you'll be the youngest one.
I call us grey-headed grommies now. Grey-headed grommies.
Experienced surfers.
Yeah,
So you get these, I hate that localism guys, go and say, I says, get off, this is my break. And I said, I was surfing there before you were born, you dickhead.
Exactly.
Don't give me that stuff,
Exactly. It's fun.
Learn to share.
Yeah, totally. I'm big on that one.
When people get angry when they're doing something nice, that is a very bad mental health problem, but those people don't recognise it.
Yeah, I agree.
When you're happy, be happy.
Totally.
All right.
I agree.
Thank you very much for coming in, Jake.
Welcome, Brady. Keep doing a good job, mate.
I hope to. Yeah.
I'm very passionate about this city and I love it.